Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie and in this episode it's a special how-to of how to make a shadow box frame for your different cards that you might want to display and scrapbook pages. It's only a quickie and it just gives you a basic look at how we can make something that's, going to be unique for you to decorate and make for your projects to display. Let's take a look. This is our shadow box base that we're going to use. Now this is the first section of the measuring that's involved. I don't like a lot of measuring in my crafting, I just like to be able to get on and do it, as I know you do as well. But there are a couple of bits of this that we need to remember for the measuring. Now the sides are going to measure 1 inch wide, but two sides will be 2 inches. Top and bottom 2 inches. So the centre panel, whatever you start with on the base, if you're working to 1 inch at either side, will always be 2 inches smaller. So my base panel is 10.5 inches. So I know the space I will have left in the centre will be 8.5 inches. So the base I have is plain white cardstock. I'm going to show you it in white. You could use any of your cardstock. Double-sided cardstock would be great, pattern cardstock, etc. And a quick tip as we go along, if you're wanting a patterned base that is edge to edge for the sides, put the patterned paper on now before we put the edges on. Now this is a very simple way to make a shadow box frame to display your card making, your scrapbooking, etc. And it is it's a very pretty way. So you could display it on wall units, hang it on the wall, you name it, you could do lots of things with it and it would be great for a keepsake. We're going to do a few shadow boxes and I've got a special coming up in a couple of weeks for my Anna fans with a shadow box. And obviously this shadow box ties in with our Fab Scraps project today. So, sorry I've gone off track there. I've probably just repeated everything I said at the beginning as well. So our base is 10.5 inches. Now we're going to measure and cut what we need for the sides. I'm going to do one and all four are going to be the same. So you're going to need a trimmer that has measurements on it. So this is my trusty Anna trimmer. You're not going to see the top of it, but you're going to see the main section and that's what counts. I'm taking a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm going to put it into the trimmer. Now to begin with I'm going to use this for measuring rather than trimming, and the same measurements and the same process work for whatever size base you're using. If you're going to start wanting to make a rectangle, then your measurements will be slightly different, but we're making ours so we've got an 8.5 inch centre. So we're starting off to make our sides 1 inch. So we pop our paper in and we take it to here where it's 1 inch and we're going to score 1 inch. We're then going to move it along to 2 inches and score. We're then going to move it to 3 inches and score. We're going to move it along to 4 inches and score. There we go. Do that one again. Then we're going to go to 4.5 inches and now we're going to trim. You're going to get 2 of these from one 12 by 12 piece of paper. Oh, well, I should say cardstock. Then we can put our trimmer to one side. There we go. And we're going to start and we're going to fold and use our bone folder. And this principle is going to work for whatever size you're making. So we'll just get these into nice creases. There we go. And final one. There we go. Now we're going to trim it again. You can do it the other way and trim it all before you fold it all. Now, because our base is 10.5 inches long, we're going to want our side 9.5 inches. So we measure it to 9.5 inches and we're going to take off the excess. Don't throw this away. Trim it down to 1 inch and keep it because we need it for our stoppers for the sides of our box. And that's a neat trick. So now we've got this our section, and you will need 4 of these. We're going to add double-sided tape on the 1/2 inch fold, and there we go. And now we're simply going to fold this together and create a kind of square block. There we go. Now once you've got it stuck, now I'm using tape. You could use wet glue. I use tape just because it's easier. I'm going to give it just a quick rub with my bone folder. Now this is going to be the first section of our shadow box frame. You're going to want 4 of these, all the same. So remember, whatever base size you're working with, you want this 1 inch shorter than the base. So this is 10.5 inches, this is 9.5 inches. You're going to want 4 of them. Now once you've actually folded them, put flat tape or glue, whatever you're happy using with, over the join that you've made to create it. And then start attaching them just to the very edge of your cardstock. So that's one. And now we're going to add our second one. And butt it up to the edge of the previous edge, keeping to the edge of your cardstock. And third one, and again butt it up to the edge and nice and straight along the sides. There we go. And then our final edge will slip in here. There we go. And up to the first one. There. Okay. That's the basis of our shadow box. We're going to add these little sections that we've cut from the waist where we trimmed it down to size. We've trimmed them, they were already scored, and we've put tape on each side. Now I've got to say, I do actually normally use glue for this bit. And this will go in each of the holes at the end. And there we go. So it tucks in, and next we're going to go around the edge and tuck them in like this, and it finishes off the side panels. There we go. And then, because it's actually not attached at each side here, I'm not going to do it now as we're chatting because it will take a long time. I take a little bit of wet glue and I simply edge it as if I'm tiling and grouting, and I add it to the edge like that, and then I press it together and hold it just for a few moments until it sticks. Now, because you're going to decorate this and cover the joins and the seams, it doesn't really matter what it looks like underneath. So, you see, that will hold. We haven't got long enough for me to sit and hold that together. But luckily for you, here's one I made earlier, and you see how it all sits together and the edges are joined. Now we're going to cover this anyway, so you won't see the actual edges. But it's such a neat trick to make a shadow box for a keepsake for anyone. And it will just look so cool in our Fab Scraps project. So that's our finished shadow frame. And how cool will it be? So this is our shadow box, all waiting to be decorated in our next project, which is our Fab Scraps number 6, where we're going to make a gorgeous scrapbook page that can be a keepsake and something that you'll treasure. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching, and it's given you a basic insight into how to make a shadow box frame for your projects, whether it be card making, scrapbooking, whatever you want to put in the centre of it. So it just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching, and please watch the project that's coming up now.